Oh yeah. Are you feeling it this Monday? I'm feeling it. I feel good this Monday. I don't know what it is. I feel good. I feel nice. Hold on, I'm gonna go live here on Instagram. And man, I'm feeling like dancing. I'm feeling like do you feel like dancing? But wait, no. Something's not right. Like something's off. Maybe it's me. I feel lonely. Maybe I don't need to dance alone. Like, what if I had someone to dance with this morning? What if I had Jose? What's going on, brother?
Yeah, what's going on, man? How's it
Man,
going?
we are jamming out.
Yeah.
My partner in crime. What's happening? What's happening, everybody? Man, you're going to get a 2-for-1 this Monday morning. If you did not know, how exciting is that? Jose, good morning.
Good morning, man. How you doing?
Good, or I should say good afternoon, man, because I know you've been hustling all day. You put in probably a day and a half worth of work already, right?
You know me, man. Grind all day. Pedal to the metal.
So yeah, man, I'm excited, bro. I appreciate you taking the time out today. You and I talk pretty much every day because you got so much going on, but we haven't done a live together in a while. I was thinking about that. So this is like, man, I'm pumped. I'm excited.
Yeah, man, me too, brother. I love it. I love watching your lives and getting to, being able to get to do them with you, man, is even more better.
Oh man, awesome. So, unless you guys have been living under a rock or you've blocked one of us, you got to know what's going on. Jose is doing his first big event. He's been talking about this for a while, and we finally got his schedule to free up that we were able to put it on. One of the questions I know, you and I have been friends now for a little over a year. We've been working together for about 3-4 months. And every time we're at an event, every time we're somewhere, every time we're doing something, people come up to me and they say, how does he do it? Like, how does he get up there? Like, how did he start? How could I do what he does? Everybody has these questions because I think, maybe there's never been a time that you haven't killed it on stage. So every time you get up there, the room's moved from front to back. Everybody wants to engage with you. So, I know you really wanted to put on this event. Can tell everybody a little bit about why this was important and why you wanted to do your own event and host this right here in your own backyard?
Man, well, I remember when I first started, Mike, that I went to a free event just like the kind that we're going to be throwing ourselves, right? I went to a free event down here at the Broward County Convention Center in South Florida, and I wanted to go see my mentor and friend, Les Brown, right? So I went to the event, and that changed my life. Not only did I, eventually was I able to meet Les Brown, but I met some other amazing people that I've been able to build some relationships with, and it was life-changing for me. And so I felt like, as a way of me giving back to other people who are trying to, increase their speaking capabilities and just learn what the business of speaking is, right? And the whole behind the scenes and what kind of work is involved and how to network and all of that stuff, right? Because not everyone knows how to do that. Like everybody wants to, there's a lot of people that want to be speakers, and that's cool, but there's a lot of speakers that are speaking for free. And and there's nothing wrong with that either if you're doing it in the beginning. But you have speakers that have been speaking for 3 to 5 years now, and they're still speaking for free, which it shouldn't be happening, right, at this point in the game. So I want to be able to show them how to monetize their gifts, their abilities, their skills, their talents. I want to show them how to monetize that so they can use that to not only go to the next level, but be able to skip levels. Because by me meeting Les Brown, not only did it take me to the next level, but it allowed me to skip levels. You know what I mean? Now, we can't skip every level, right? Because there's certain levels that you just have to go through. But even with skipping levels, there's still work involved with that you have to do. So just because you're able to, find a mentor or a coach that can help you, fast track your where you want to go, you still have to put the work in at the end of the day. So whether you're skipping levels or going to the next level, there's still work involved that people have to do. But that's the purpose of me throwing this event, man, is just to bring people in. It's free for general admission, $99 for the VIP, because they'll get to hang out with you and me and some of the other guest speakers that we're going to have that we'll announce really soon, and just be able to, pick our brains and get, and get to know what it really takes to run a successful, business, and not only for speakers, right? Because what you do is you help companies scale, right? You help businesses scale, entrepreneurs scale. As from the business aspect, and I'm just a great communicator, and so You and I
Not
combined.
great, man. You are a master communicator, man. Forget great. You should pass great a long time ago, brother.
Thanks, man. And then we have, the other guest speakers that we're going to be bringing in that are freaking beasts with the marketing strategies. So I think those three are very important for any industry, right? So that's why I wanted to throw this event, man. And people have been asking me all the time too, like, hey, man, when are you going to throw your event? When are you going to throw your event? And, if people only knew how much it takes to throw an event, right? Not only time and energy, but resources and money. It takes all of those things to be able to throw a good, successful event, and marketing as well. So it's not easy, man. And I just felt like I wasn't ready, back then when people were asking me. But I feel like now, excuse me, I feel like now is the time for us to take that, that step forward and take that leap of faith and just and do what we do best, man.
I hear you, man. I hear you. And you hit on some key things there, which I loved. You hit on the idea of leveling up, going to the next level. You hit the idea of scaling. And then you mentioned all these different components, from marketing to planning to everything that needs to be done. And, one of the questions we get often, and I think, I know you've addressed this a few times. I think you guys talked about it yesterday. I love the live you did with Andrea yesterday. That was amazing. You're doing this full time. This is your full-time job, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
So, that's, and I think it's great that you've been able to create a living off of this, but, talk a little bit about, it didn't start there, right? Like you said, you attended the free event, you've learned all these things, and you're speaking about this today. And I tell everybody, the check clears overnight, but the work doesn't. And even sometimes the check doesn't clear overnight. but talk about that journey from like starting out, like how did you were working and doing this at the same time, and now it's a full-time job. What was the difference between, like, you guys literally all those components you mentioned, like now you have me helping you with some of the business side of things. You have a marketing team that helps you with marketing. You have all these different teams, but at first it was you and your wife. And like, that was the root of the beginning. And that was the grind that was the thing that nobody sees, right? Like, talk about that growth process and why that's so important, and how we're going to be helping people with that at this event.
Yeah, man. Like you said in the beginning, it was just me and my wife, man. We were the team. That was it. It was just me, her, and I, and we were the team. And, and I get that asked a lot, not only from the speaking aspect, but me just even, waking up every morning, living life in a wheelchair, putting a smile on my face. People are always saying, man, you have such an amazing smile, man. You look so sharp, because I always try to dress my best. But they don't even know the process that I have to go through in the morning just to get out of the bed, right? Yep. And my wife and I and my kids that we have to go through. And it's work. Again, it's work involved on everybody's plate. It takes a team effort. And we were doing it, we were doing it in the beginning. So we transferred that teamwork into the business, right? So I was working a full-time job. I was working for corporate America, working 40 hours a week plus. Sometimes when they were offering the overtime, right? I take advantage of the overtime, right? So 40 plus hours a week, then coming home by 6, 7 o'clock and working another pretty much full-time job, because I'd be up till 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, man, just researching and YouTubing things and just trying to inform myself and educate myself and still reading books and reading articles and learning and then implementing, right? Because they say that, knowledge is the new currency, but it's really applied knowledge is where the power lies. So you have to get the information and then apply it. You have to apply it to your life in order for it to work for you. So that's what we did, man. We just learned, we researched, we Googled, we YouTubed everything, and we just started putting things into action. And we created a plan. My wife and I, one of the things we do is every Sunday afternoon after church, we'll go to our favorite Dunkin' Donuts and we'll strategize for about 2 to 3 hours that upcoming week. So we know what we have to do. And because what they say, that if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail, right? So we take that time together as a couple. We motivate each other. We uplift each other. We encourage each other. And, she's the real MVP, man. She's the real MVP of the team. And she's the one who pushes me to go, even when I don't feel like going sometimes. Because everybody's always like, man, Jose, you're everywhere. I always see you everywhere. You're always on the go. And, it looks nice on the surface, but sometimes I don't feel good, right? My body's going through something, or my legs hurt, or my I feel crampy. Like my muscles feel crampy, but I'm still pushing through, man. I'm still pushing through because I understand, and I've learned and I understand that in order for me to live the type of life that I want to live, I'm going to have to do the things that normal people wouldn't necessarily be willing to do, because it requires a massive amount of work, So, but I'm doing it, man. I don't let the wheelchair stop me. Everybody that knows me knows that I'm like, I won't stop until I win. And people are like, man, you're winning. And I'm like, I know, but I want to keep winning. So I got to keep going.
Yep. No, I love that. And one thing you talked about is you and your wife from the start, right? Like in the business, getting together and even planning your weeks together, at Dunkin' Donuts. One of my favorite things about you guys going to Dunkin' Donuts is, since I started working with you, I became a part of that Dunkin' Donuts family. So I love those everything bagels you bring me when we meet, man. That's my fuel. That's my Jose Flores, let's get things done fuel. But on that note, we've had a lot of people buy tickets. We've had a lot of people buy the VIP tickets. We've had a lot of people sign up for the free tickets, which, if you guys haven't done that, they're going quickly. And we do have limited space in the room. We're even in contact with some companies that we want to send their entire staff. So while you may think you have time, like it could be literally like tomorrow that the tickets are gone. So, please, and make sure that even if you're thinking about coming, pick up one of those free tickets, or if you want to come and you want a VIP ticket, we only have limited availability of the VIP tickets as well, because of seating in the lunch, and we want to get that as premium seating up front. So make sure you guys grab those very, very quickly. But that being said, Jose, one of the things I've noticed in the ticket sales and kind of looking at monitoring them and looking at them on the back end is there's a lot of people that are bringing someone with them. Yeah. They're bringing their spouse, they're bringing their business partner, they're bringing their friend, they're bringing their team, and I think whether it's your wife or your business partner or someone you work with, and I, and you and I go to a lot of things together, I know your wife comes to a lot of the things we go to as well. And I know you and her attend a lot of events together. Who would you want to bring to this? Like, what if my spouse, what if I want to be a speaker, but my spouse has no desire? Does it make sense to bring them? Does it make sense, if I want to be a speaker or I want to speak better in my business, to bring my business partner? Would it make sense for me to also pick up a ticket for them? Is that something that people should be doing?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And my wife and I, we kind of touched on that yesterday in the live that on Saturday, the live that we did on Saturday, on how, to be able to support your spouse, whether male or female, support your spouse in what they're doing. If they're wanting to become an entrepreneur, it takes a lot of work, man. Like, this entrepreneur life is not for everyone. And the reason is because it takes work. And most people only want to do what's required of them. They don't want to do any extra. And it's in the extra that you're able to obtain extra, right? The more you do, the more you get. The more people you meet, the more connections, the more leverage you can have, right? But people are just okay and satisfied with just doing the bare minimum, and and if you're okay with that, then that's fine. But people like you and I that are not okay with just the bare minimum, that we want more for our lives, for our families, for the people that are around us, and we want to help people grow, then that's not enough. We put in that extra work, and we have to go hard with it all the time. But yeah, you can bring your spouse, you can bring your family members, your coworkers, literally everybody is going to be able to benefit from this. Whether you want to be a speaker or not. If you don't necessarily want to be a public speaker, right? Because we know a lot of people are scared to death to speaking.
Yes,
but you can still obtain certain gems and nuggets that we're going to be dropping at this event that you'll be able to utilize in any industry that you're in, because it's kind of like a universal language, right? Whether you want to be out in public or not, you're still going to have to communicate with your coworkers. You're still going to have to communicate with your family. You're still going to have to communicate with your friends, community, your church members. So this is just going to help you learn how to communicate more effectively. We're going to help you. We're going to help and show you how to, develop and craft a story where people will be compelled to want to work with you, that are going to be compelled to want to be around you. And just that energy, right? We all have that energy signature. We're going to teach you how to, keep that positive mindset, right? I'm the mindset disruptor. So I'm going to show you how to disrupt people's normal ways of thinking by thinking outside of the box, and just having that go-getter mentality, that positive mentality that says, I'm going to do whatever it takes to go to the next level and be around the people that I need to be around that'll help me skip those levels too.
Yeah. I love that you hit on that, because the idea of what public speaking is, right? I think a lot of people, what you do, you speak to thousands of people on stage, right? You fill large rooms, you fill large conferences, but you also speak to 5 people in a boardroom. You speak you do one-on-one coaching. You do so many different things that to me kind of are also classified under that public speaking category, right? Like even, if you're in sales, that one-on-one sales with that person that you need to make the sales with, that's public speaking, right? And a lot of people are nervous about that. And some of the skills and techniques that you use from the stage could be helpful to that salesperson. Or if you're in a job and you're the person that like wants to get a promotion, and you're sitting there in the boardroom, but you're scared to raise your hand to speak to the 5 people in the boardroom and say that genius idea you have that could revolutionize your company, that could take you to the next level in your job and get you the promotion you want, or get you the recognition maybe you even want in your business. And I think public speaking is just a form of communication. So why this is the business of speaking, it's really also a communication event. And we're going to teach you how to communicate in so many different ways, from what you're going to teach them from the stage, from the, business aspect, from the marketing aspect, from all these areas where maybe you didn't learn or see things from them. You'll sort of take that in-depth sort of approach. And with that, what is the difference though for you though, when you see speaking to, that room of 1,000 versus when you do one-on-one coaching with like a team in the boardroom? What is the different approaches that you have when working with those two different groups? And what's that experience like working with those two different groups?
Yeah, it's amazing because when you're speaking in front of a large audience, the energy level is just phenomenal, right? Because everybody's excited, everybody's, energized, and it's cool because you get to speak on a larger scale. But when you're speaking to a small group, you might be dealing with those, a small group of introverts. And it's like, it's trying to like dealing with those groups sometimes are very difficult because they're just like so tuned in and they're obtaining the information, but they're not engaging or they're not raising their hand, right? Because they're introverted and they're afraid to engage or ask a question or make a comment. And so sometimes those groups are difficult, but I like the small groups too, because you're able to get more intimate, right? You're able to get more one-on-one. You're able to get more, more comfortable with that little 5 group audience. And then with the larger audiences, like I said, man, that's just like my zone. I love being in that element because the energy in the room is just amazing. And then also the energy that I bring into the room, it just magnifies it even more. So I just love it, man. I just whether it's 5,000 or 5 people, man, I'm going all in regardless.
I love it. You talked too about the first event you went to being free, that it was kind of, an unpaid thing you guys went to. And that's what really began this journey, skyrocketed the career. I love that story. We had that story for the first time over buffalo chicken sandwiches. That's another one of our Jose and I like to eat a lot. So I'm going to tell you some like business food. If we have a meeting, there's food to be had, but if we're going to, if you're on the VIP, you're going to get the lunch, you're going to have some good food there. I can't tell you about it, but believe me, it's going to be really good. But with that being said, there's the idea of networking, right? Like you attended this event. You and I attend networking events together as well. Both locally, we've done some national ones. We were at the 10X conference. We were just on a phone call about looking at something at the end of the month, possibly that's a networking event that we're going to be going to. So, this room, like I mentioned too, I have a lot of people that have reached out to us that want to be there, that are coming from tons of different places all over the country. It's not just South Florida. We got people flying in. Talk about the network aspect of this event, and even the people are going to be in a room. And more importantly, why is networking so important when you want to be a speaker and having that ability to network with other speakers that, I know some people would say, well, are they my competition though? Isn't that like, why would I want to network with someone that's my competition? Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, man. I just want to go back to, because you said I went to that free networking event that was unpaid. And I want to let everybody know that it was literally unpaid because I was still working my job, and it was in December and I took the day off unpaid because I had already ran out of my PTO time, right? Yeah. So that was like a little scary moment as well, because I had to get to a point where I said, listen, if this is what I want to do, I have to make sure I do everything and anything possible to get me that much closer. So I took the day off unpaid. And then going back to your networking, that first event that I went to meet Les Brown, I didn't meet him, right? And I talk about this in great detail in the book. I even did a flow chart of events and like in chronological order on how things happened for me, because it was just that freaking powerful and that amazing how things just fell into place because of me networking with different individuals. So that first night I got there, I didn't meet Les Brown, but I was able to meet the host of the event, who introduced me to the CEO of the event, right? Brian Forte. And Brian said, hey, I heard that you're an upcoming speaker. I said, yeah. He said, hey, listen, are you able to make it the following week? Mind you, if I would have went that following week, that's another unpaid day that I would have had to take from work. That was 2 days off unpaid in the same pay period. So that's like, you know, when you're living check to check, it's like you need everything that you can get. So again, the guy was like, hey, I'll give you 10 minutes on stage to show me what you got. So I was like, what? Heck yeah, I'm there. So I took the day off unpaid again, showed up, and you know, just that power of networking. Again, that first time that I went, I wasn't able to meet Les Brown, but I met Willie Jolly, who was another speaker there. And I went to his little after party little thing he was having at a hotel across the street. And because of me, mind you, I was there. I get motivated at 6:30 in the morning, right?
Wow.
The lines were freaking crazy. There was like 3,500 people there. And Willie Jolly was having his party at 8:30 p.m. at the hotel across the street. So I was already over 12 hours in my wheelchair.
And tell them what time you have to wake up to be there at 6:30.
Yeah, to be there at 6:30, I have to wake up at 4:30.
Wow.
Just to go through the process that we have to go through, because it takes us about an hour and a half to 2 hours before we're getting dressed and in the chair and, you know, makeup and everything. So it's a little lengthy process for us. And we do that every time, you know, regardless of where we have to go. We always have to give a 2-hour allotment ahead of time. And but I was able to, you know, connect with Willie Jolly, and he wound up becoming one of my mentors also. He actually wrote a testimonial on the back of my book that I wrote. And he's a big dog also in the speaking industry. Yeah, right in the back of that book, baby.
Yeah, you know, it's one. I love the book, and if you guys don't have it, you know, definitely visit joseinspires.com, pick up the book. And if you're coming to the event, I really recommend getting it before you come if you don't have it already, because it's going to give you a great foundation into Jose, what he's going to speak about. This is like the cheat sheet before you go in. And if you are going to be there and you want to bring it with you, Jose will autograph it when you're there. And if not, we'll have them available at the event. But if you're coming, I really recommend picking it up. And if you're not coming, I recommend picking it up anyway, because it is a great book to give you that foundation. I love what you've done with the networking. And talk about, you know, you're rocking that hat. You know, we were at 10X, like I said, I mean, and, you know, seeing the people we met there, knowing that, you know, you've been able to, you know, you went out to California with Andy Frisella. I mean, you were at the Grammys. I mean, you know, also you're not just networking on these levels with local businesses and growing. You have people that are out there that are influencers. You know, I know you're going to get into the story, and we don't have to go into details about it today, but, you know, Les Brown's called you the influencer to the influencers. I mean, like these guys that are credible celebrities in the industry, you were able to connect with, you know, and I love that you talk about this, the power of showing up. You know, talk a little bit about, you know, how you were able to break down those barriers. I know it'd be tough to go into detail with each one, but how did you break down the barriers, and how did you overcome maybe the nervousness that, you know I always have that, like, oh, you know, could I even talk to that person, or could I say hi to them? How did you overcome that and were able to knock down those barriers where, I mean, now you're networking with some amazing people who are out there doing amazing things, who are now asking you, how do I get involved with you, Jose? So it's really neat. Talk a little bit about that for us.
Yeah, you know what, Mike? It's Les Brown said something to me, man, one time that just blew my mind, and it's always stuck with me. He said that the easiest thing that he ever did in life was make $1 million. And he said that the hardest thing that he ever did was to believe it could happen to him.
Wow.
And that struck a chord with me, man, because I was one of those dudes that never thought it would be possible for me to reach a higher level of success, right? Because of my situation. It was the mindset that I had. And it wasn't until I changed that mindset, right? It wasn't until I changed the story, changed the narrative, you know, started to change the way I was thinking, changing some of the things that I was doing, like getting rid of old habits and old limiting beliefs, that really things started to change for me in a dramatic way, man. And I remember the first time, man, I was in a room full of millionaires, multi-millionaires, and it was just me and my wife. And I, you know, I mean, we felt like we were the lowest level in the room, right? Financially. But, and I was like, man, you know, just being, I've never even been around a millionaire before, you know, before that time. So just that be in a room with them and be on the same level as they were, and then, you know, killing it just like they were killing it. It's like sometimes we look at these people like, and we're like, wow, they're so high up, and they're just regular human beings, man. And just learning that right there, like, man, this dude is so cool. I don't care how much money he has. He's just a cool dude, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm starting to realize, is that a lot of these dudes, man, they're just regular dudes and girls that have made substantial income by doing what they love to do, making impact, helping others, but really just putting in the work. It goes back to that word work again, right? And the way I've been able to network with these if you want to call it these higher level people or these influencers, right, is because I've learned that they're just humans just like I am. They're no better, they're no less. We bleed the same color blood, right? So just being around them and just gaining the information that that they have, like I'm always trying to talk to somebody, bro. Like if you know me, I'm from New York, so I'm already a talker by nature, right? And so every room that I go into, I'm always trying to talk to different people and just kind of get to know people, right? And the problem with it that most people have when it's networking is they go in there with the mentality of like, what can I get? What's in it for me? How can I get this? How can I get that? Instead of really just trying to get to know the person and seeing what their needs are, how you may be able to help them or how they may be able to help you, but in a way that doesn't seem like it's all about you, right?
Right.
And that's how I've been able to get to these high level people, because I approach it in a way that it's not about me, it's about them, and me just being able to use my situation, in the wheelchair, which I do use as leverage, right? It gets me into certain places that, most people won't be able to get into, or access to certain people. And I use that to my advantage. And when I have the opportunity, I go all in and I execute, and just the personality, right? Those higher level people, like, and I talk about this too with my MIND acronym, right? Like getting rid of negative thoughts, negative people, and just people just automatically are drawn to people who are positive, who are energetic, who are high energy, and that are fun to be around. And I would like to think that I'm that type of dude. And that's why, that's why I've been able to, get access to these big influencers and build relationships with them. Just really build relationships, check in on them. Like I literally just text people like Tim Grover or Andy Frisella or Tim Story. I just text these guys like, hey, what's up, man? Just thinking about you. Hope all is well, man. Hope things are going well. Hope you're feeling well. If there's anything I can do for you, let me know. And that's it. And people appreciate that. So that's huge with networking, man. I know that was a little long-winded, bro, so I hope it answered you.
No, and it was a great answer, and it reminds me too of some of the stuff you've done in the Mental Toughness Mastermind, right? Like I know that's a big topic that we covered in there with that group and networking, and there was even some people in the group that literally took that networking advice and what you did, and like they were out the next week applying that, right? And understanding that they could step into any event. It didn't matter what level they were at. It didn't matter where you were, because these are just people, and everybody wants to learn from everybody, and you never know who you're going to meet in that room until you step into that room. Right. And I love seeing the things that you've done, whether it's speaking on stage, whether it's through the Mental Toughness Mastermind, whether it's through your book. It's not just, the thing I love about what you do is it's not just a message and an idea and a philosophy and a theory. Like it works. Like we've literally seen it work with people. We've literally seen people, in their businesses. We've seen large corporations take what you've done and apply it. We've seen individual people who are even just thinking about being entrepreneurs and CEOs applying what you've done. So it's been really neat for me to be involved in the process and knowing you for as long as I have and see it happening.
Just to go back to that networking real quick, that's how you and I met.
Yeah.
I went to a networking event. For a guy that we both knew. You went to the same networking event. I didn't know you didn't know me, but we knew this guy, and we just showed up. We started networking, we worked the crowd, we were talking, and then look, a year and a half later, we're working together. So you never know, like, man, that's so powerful. Like the power of showing up. There's opportunity in the show up, and you never know who you meet, who you can work with, who can help you, who you can help when you show up and you work a crowd, man.
Yep. And more importantly than working together, I think we're having fun.
Yeah, man. That's very important, man. It's never fun having to just work and just do work only. It's always fun when you can have work and have fun at the same time and be around other high energy people, positive people, funny people that you can work with, man. When you can build that, and we're going to be talking about that too at the event, like how to build that fun team, right? Like those Google companies and those Amazon companies that people love working for because they make it fun, right? Yeah, you have to work. Yeah, you have to do certain things. Yeah, there's deadlines. Yeah, there's projects, but you can make it fun at the same time. And it doesn't have to be so robotic and mundane and repetitive like most corporate America, companies are. They're just very come in, do what you need to do it, micromanagement. And, those companies like Google and Amazon, they're paying those people not to have to micromanage them because they know that they're so large and there's work that needs to be done. Just as long as you're doing your work, You want to go take a little nap in one of the little, nap pods, then go ahead. Or you want to go play ping pong on your break or take a little break or whatever, go play a game of foosball, then go ahead and do that. But have fun, man. It's all about having fun, man. Our life is too short to just be, work, straightforward and no fun time, no downtime, no connection making, no relationship building. You have to be able to do all of that, man, to live a great, fulfilled life, man. Especially when you know that you're helping others go to the next level and making that big impact and that big difference in someone else's life or organization.
Absolutely. And then you attract those like people, which is what I love about you and working with you is you keep attracting those people in. We're going to have some of those people speaking at the event. We're going to be doing some speaker announcements later this week. So like I said, make sure you have notifications on for Jose and I, so that you guys see that. You see those coming up. We mentioned to joseboss.com to get the tickets, the VIP tickets. There's limited available, as well as the free tickets. There's limited available. So if you guys haven't picked those up, please make sure you do. Like I said, we have people reaching out to us, looking to come and buy kind of in big packs. So I would hate to see them go away. And then you're like, oh man, there's no space left. Make sure that you guys do this. I know some people were asking, will we be doing it again? Will there be some in other locations? We don't know yet. I guarantee you there will be. We just don't know when. And the thing of it is like I said, Jose's, speaking all over the place. He's doing a lot. So we want to make sure that we're fitting it in when we can, and the different areas. So I can't answer that. So don't be like, oh, I'll wait for the next one or I'll see what comes. That it may not be there. So make sure that you guys do that. So Jose, I did want to wrap up because I know we're coming up on about 30 minutes here, and I want to be respectful of your time because I know you have another interview coming up as well. Any questions for me or anything else you want to add before we head out?
Yeah, man. How are you able to make things run so smoothly with what you do, man? Let people know what you do. Because I know I was on a phone call this morning and somebody was asking me like, yeah, man, I see you working with Mike, man. What does he do? So let everybody know what you do. That's a part of my audience that doesn't know you, and let them know what you do, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where, and I think you and I experience this, right? You got to see what I do or work with me to know what I do. And I think one of the things I always have done, and you and I know we even collaborated and talked. And like I said, we had a bunch of great lunches, just kind of getting together and talking about our businesses and what we could do and how we could help each other. And really, that's what I do is I help people, grow and scale their business. I help them put the pieces in place or take the pieces they have and make them grow. One of the things, like you were a great example of this, where you had the book in place, you had the leads coming in for speaking engagements, you have all the components of what you needed. You just wanted to accelerate and have it go faster, and you need to put that team in place. And that's really what I do, is kind of help find those right people or those right things. And the same thing like you. I mean, for me, it's been a lot of my team, right? The people that I have working behind the scenes, the different, one of the things I've really tried to do is build a network of people that could help people in the various levels that they're at in their business. So how do you find the right marketer? How do you find the right accountant? How do you find the right, back office? How do you find the right website guy? How do you find the right video editor? How do you find the right graphic designer? Because as you and I know, it's tough as you're growing a business. You can't always hire these people full-time and bring them in, but you also don't have the time to vet them, because you're trying to grow or scale that business, or you're trying to transition out of your full-time job. And that's really what the Magus Group does. And that's what we work with. I'm going to be talking at the event about how you really need to look at the pillars of your business. Like Jose says, we're having fun because, we know what our core values are. We know the type of clients we want to work with. We know the type of business that we want. We know how to put different systems and things in place. We know what our niche is. I love business that says, what do? We do everything. Well, that's scary, right? Like you should know what you're good at and be able to fix and work in that. So we're going to talk about defining your niche and finding the different areas you worked in. And then I'm constantly assessing for myself and my clients. And my clients don't always have time to do this. So we're always looking at the business. Where's the strengths and weaknesses? Are we staying on brand? What are the different projects we should be saying no to? How do you know when to say no? You mentioned a great thing before about free, right? I think everybody, it's important they know their value. How do you figure out what you should charge hourly? These are all questions that, and especially for me, I came from the classroom as a classroom teacher, moved into the startup entrepreneurial community, got a lot of bumps and bruises along the way because I didn't know, right? I didn't have somebody a lot of times there to answer those questions. And then I started to reach out and get different mentors in my life that did answer some of those questions for me and allowed me to grow properly and kind of took me under their wing. And those are the things that I want to share with you guys. How do you find a mentor? How do you know the difference between a mentor and a coach? These are all great questions to ask. And these are all things we're going to be covering. So, and like I said, I really appreciate you giving me the time to share this, because it really, I think, there's so much that you could share at the event. And you could probably take up the full day and everyone will get ton of knowledge. But I think it's so great that you're giving the time to me. We're going to announce some of the other speakers on the marketing end and be bringing them in as well. So yeah, I mean, I'm really, really excited. If you guys want to learn more about me or Jose, you can visit our individual websites, Jose Inspires. And then you could also visit Mike Ficara, is where all the links to all my social media are. Jose Inspires 360, we know, has links to all your social media and all your sites and everything going on, and all the great books. So thanks, man. I appreciate it. I'm excited, bro. I'm really looking forward to it, man. And every week that we're getting closer to it, I just can't wait, man. I think it's going to be a blast.
Yeah, man. The momentum is rising, man. I'm super excited, man. And I just want to let you know, I thank you and I love you, brother. I appreciate everything that you do for me and just the person that you are, man. So let's keep on rocking and rolling, baby.
Yeah, and to everyone too that's been commenting, we've been seeing the comments coming in, but we really want to get this information out because so many of you have been DMing us and asking us questions. So hopefully this is a great FAQ for the event that everyone's been asking. But any comments you guys did put in, Jose and I will both be responding to them. If you're watching on the replay and you have additional questions, we'll also be responding to those. So make sure you guys put that in. But more importantly, like I say, Jose, what's the most important thing to do? Doesn't matter. Right? Even if you don't come to the event, at least dance for us, right? We gotta dance. Make it a great day. Enjoy yourself, guys. We want to see you out there. We love you guys.
Yeah,
all right, everybody. We appreciate you tuning in. JoseBoss.com. Do not miss this event.